Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome on the session called Azure AI Language Services versus OpenAI. Today, during that session, I'm going to check some of the language services and see if we are able to do the same job with OpenAI. But let's start with introduce myself. My name is Gosia Bożenska. I'm an AI engineer at Avanade, co-organizing AI 42 meetups, and as well I'm an AI MVP. My background is in development and I used to be Office 365 dev, currently working with Python, React, and .NET to create an AI solutions for our clients. And you can find me on X, LinkedIn, and Instagram. So let's start our journey with languages with a little bit of history. So the evolution of AI on Azure started in 2010 when Microsoft decided to go to the cloud and create a Windows Azure. 5 years later, we are able to create our own models with Azure Machine Learning. And for those who are not data scientists or not working with data but creating application, in 2016 was created Microsoft Cognitive Services, where you're able to just with simple API create intelligent in your application. In 2016 also come Azure Bot Services, where you can create your own bot. 2017 to better work with your old data, the Databricks come to Azure. And in 2019, Microsoft started cooperate with OpenAI and start bringing Azure OpenAI on enterprise level to Azure. And we was able to see what's going on in 2021 when Copilot for GitHub started to be live, and this helper for coding was on Visual Studio Code and later on in Visual Studio as well. And now this year was announced that we are able to create our own Copilot. So Copilot coming not only to Office 365, but also we are able to add our own Copilot. But if we look at all about languages and artificial intelligence, everything is started in 1950s when Turing test was come, and then slowly there was works around AI. So it was great AI expectation in 60s, some unfulfilled promises, and in 80s AI becomes an industry. In 90s, you were able to start working with some artificial narrow intelligence, and in 2000s, deep learning active research. And then slowly was starting to create an assistants and platforms where you're able to create your machine learning things in the cloud. And from that, it's starting going with more language things, starting from Azure Machine Learning, AutoML, Vision, Cloud, and Google. So how we can see all of this artificial intelligence slowly becoming more and more advanced every year. So now when we come to Azure AI, we can see that there is few services that we're able to use. First one is Azure AI Services, used to know as a cognitive services. There is an Azure AI Studio where you perform some AI things. For example, it's coming to be there creating your copilots. And Azure Machine Learning to create your own models for machine learning. And if we look at Azure Microsoft AI portfolio, so we have cognitive services with vision, speech, language, decision, and open AI, some applied AI services, and application that easily using all of these services and intelligence like Power BI, Power Apps, Power Automate, and Power Virtual Agents. And of course, application that all of this intelligence easily coming to them, like Microsoft 365 or Microsoft Edge. So what are Azure AI services? There are some services that you are able to use with the single API call, and as well adding your own data with custom things. So we have Azure OpenAI services. We have search, vision, speech, language, translator, documents, bots, and also the custom things like audio and video as a video indexer, decision, metrics advisory, and immersive reader. So today I'm going to focus only on two of them. So is Azure OpenAI and language. So with Azure AI language services, we are able to do two things. First, we have pre-built services that we're not doing anything. We're just getting API call and just perform our task. Or we are able to do a customized one where we're just adding our input, and based on that, we're just creating our custom model. And Azure AI language services can do a few things. So it can do a sentiment analysis and opinion mining. It can detect the language, find the entity linking in the text, name entity recognition, detect any personal information, create a question answering, text analytics for health, get a key phrase extraction, and as well do a document summarization. And with custom one, you are able to create a conversational language understanding, orchestral workflow, custom name entity recognition, and custom text classification. So let's start with Azure languages. To start with this, we need to go and create new resource. And in AI machine learning, we have all Azure AI services, or we can choose only language services that we're going to use today. So we're going to click Create. We can select as well the custom question answering and custom text classification if we would like to use. And then we can just go and add to our resource group, create a new name, Reactor Language Services. And we can use two tiers, free one that we're using this for free, or S1 if we're going to go on production. And free one, you can only use one per subscription. And because I use this one, so I will use for the demo S. And if we're using custom question answering, automatically will create for us the search solution as well. So here again, we can go with free one that is free for free indexes that we'll create, or basic. And again, is exactly the same. You need to have the free one per all the subscription. And for custom text classification, we need to create a storage. With some name, and we can use what type of the account we need. And as well, we need to agree that we'll use with responsible AI. It's good to go and read all of this information before we think and understand how we'll use this services in our application. So let's go to review and create, and in few minutes it's going to be done. And how we can see it's deployed now, we can go to our resource group and And we can see reactor language services that I just create. So this what is important here, we need to have it's our key and endpoint to use all of these services. Now, when we have an Azure languages, we can go to little learn about what is OpenAI or Azure OpenAI. So Azure OpenAI are models that we are able to use. They are based on large language models, and one of these is GPT, generate and understand the text, DALI to generate images from the text prompts, embedding to create a relateness of the text strings, and Whisper in previous tool, the speak to text. And Microsoft very close working with OpenAI and create this on enterprise level. But if you don't have access to Azure OpenAI, you are able to request this, or you can just start with using OpenAI APIs to start understanding what OpenAI is. But this what extra Azure OpenAI giving you that OpenAI not on the same level. It's adding you extra responsible AI and security with private endpoints and privacy. And I think this what is most important, regional availability. So if your data couldn't go outside UK, they can stay in the UK. And with responsible AI, it's also creating a content filtering configuration. So it's able to set severity levels of any things that's coming to the prompt, starting from hate, sexual, self-harm, and violence. And still, if you don't have access to Azure OpenAI, but you would like to check how it's working, you are able to see this with safety content that come to cognitive services portfolio. The one thing also what's going on with Azure OpenAI is monitoring usage on Azure OpenAI. So there is an automatic content classification, checking if there is not any abuse pattern capture based on this, what you agree when starting working with Azure OpenAI. And if they will see something, the specialized people, only few of them that were able to see why it's going on, do the review and detection, and if there is anything worry, they could contact with you with notification and making action while you're going, why you're not using properly the Azure OpenAI. And of course, it's possible to switch it off, but again, you need to get an access to modify this one and say why your scenario telling that you will misuse the Azure OpenAI and what's going on. So to apply to Azure OpenAI, you can go to this link and you need to fill the form, and then when you agree on all of the responsible AI, you're able to get access to Azure OpenAI. So when you are able to access Azure OpenAI, you are ready to go to Azure Services, create the new resource and find Azure OpenAI. And you'll be able to create your Azure OpenAI exactly with the same version. You're able to only create with a standard. And again, you agree about everything. Okay, next. We can review, and it's starting to create Azure OpenAI for us. So let's make a little pause and I'll be back when it's done. The Azure OpenAI is created. We can go to our resources. We can see it's created. And again, we have our key and endpoints. And we can go to the OpenAI Studio. Here in OpenAI Studio, we have a playground when we can go and start chatting, completion, and DALI. If you will access to Whisper, it will also show here as well. So to start first, we have also the models that we are able to use. So there are some base models, but we can also create a custom one if we would like to. So first, what we need to do is just deploy a model. So we just selecting which one we would like to use. If we want to auto update to default or select the specific one and just add the name of our model. And this one is important because this one we will use later on, this name of this model. So it can be any name. And we can add the content filter if we would like to add extra one, and how many tokens per minute we are able to use in this case. And we're going to create, and yeah, we have our model. So when we go back to chat, we can see that the chat is show up. We can start using with our model, write the system message who you are, and start typing what you can do for me. And as you see, sometimes you need to just wait a little bit before it starts working. So we'll back to using OpenAI in the moment. So let's see some examples what we can do with Azure AI Language or OpenAI. So first category is the language detection. With language detection, it's just getting information if 120 languages that you are able to get and detect with cognitive services. And you're simply just getting an API call from Azure and it's going back with some response. So let's see this on the code. So here I have an example of the language detection. First, what I create is the samples documents. So we have in different languages, we have English, French, Japanese, etc. Extra one, what I add is a text that it's an emoji and the multiple languages. So let's go and check how this will work. So I also have 4 arrays. First is about what it should be with English names and original names, and what it will back with Azure and what will be back with OpenAI. So this is what I need to run for an Azure language is the text analytics and credentials. And when I authenticate the client, I can get the detect language from my documents and get just the first primary language. So let's run this one, and in 0.7 seconds I have all information. So as you see, the last one was unknown, and the with emoji was unknown, and the last one was the English as the first language. We can do the same with the OpenAI. So let me run this one. And this is what I'm using. I'm using the OpenAI I decided to use OpenAI to have access to the latest version of GTP4. And this what it's changed here now. You need to add the role system. So you need to write what type of the agent will be. So it will be a model trained to detect language in the text. And then the user context, so detect the language in the text and return only a single word of the language from the document. And then print this and append to the choices. And how I see in 30 seconds we got this. So here we see the performance, it's a big issue because with language detection API we have only 0.7 seconds, and here we have about 30 seconds for this task. But how it look when we compare them, so we can see that it's done exactly the same job. Here is just Chinese simplified because there are two Chinese that is recognized with Azure Language Studio. And here is the extra information that text is provided, not contain the language. So, and here is multilingual. So this is the difference. With languages, you can have more than one language to see how it works. So going back to the presentation, from language, you just going to call the client, detect language and your documents, and then you can print the language name. And from language detection on OpenAI, you just need to write a message, what the system is, what is the role of the system, and write as a user what it should detect. The next offering is sentiment analysis. So here where we can go with four information, so we can get and find if the text is positive, if it's negative, it's a mix, or if it's neutral. And the extra one was added to language services is the opinion mining. So it's getting finding for all sentence the subject, what kind is opinion, if it's great, like here we have a great and unfriendly, and about what subject is talking this about, and going back with the if it's positive or negative. So on this example, the room was great, it's a positive, but the staff was unfriendly, it's negative. With sentiment analysis, all of this is as negative, but with only bits of this, it's positive and negative at the same time. So let's see how it looked like in the code. So here we have the first opinion mining. So I will run again the text analytics to get things. And here are some examples written with ChatGPT about some service with few sentences. Some of them are negative, some of them are positive. And when we run this, we're getting analyze sentiment, and here we need to add the extra flag, show opinion mining true, and for which one we're getting the review, if it's positive review, how many of them, how many mixed, and how many negative review. And next, for each of them, we'll just show the bits. So how you can see, we have that general sentiment for each the reviews. There was 2 positive reviews, 4 mixed reviews, and 3 negative reviews. And it's again go very quick in 0.7 seconds. And we have about what the people complain. We can do the same with OpenAI. So let's run. And again, we need to write the text. So here I just write the assistant analyze the review, and if it's negative, what they complain about. So we have just little different one, like here we have in JSON going back for us in format like assessment tags and where it's going. Here it's going with the text one about this. And also it's again a little longer, it's 33 seconds. So it's the air condition is the room was not working properly, the room felt stuffy and outdated, and the review is positive, not negative. So this is what we can do with opinion mining. And how we can do only just with sentiment. So I create some sentiment sample text in different languages. There are different kind of opinion. So there are opinion in positive, negative, and neutral. So we can see also how it works if we not specify which language it is. So with Azure AI language call, I go again up very quick, and we go to just add the, if it's positive, add the present, and we can see how the sentiment score look like positive is almost 100%, neutral is 0.02, and negative is less than 1%. And the same doing for other languages. So it's even not translating, it's just getting the sentiment for all of this. And it makes 2 seconds to analyze all of this text. And again, with OpenAI, I need to write the system content. So I'm an AI, you are an AI model trained to analyze and detect sentiment of the product's review, and analyze this one and write with positive, negative, or neutral, and show percent of confidence, and back with only with single word like positive, negative, or mixed, with the percent of confidence. So we're going to back and we have the results like positive and how many percent of each of them. There is also option to go with OpenAI and back with JSON results. So to do that, there are 2 small changes. So one change is use JSON object of type of response. And second, in the user, you need to always write that return in JSON format. So ChatGPT could understand how it works. And here we have in JSON format in 19 seconds that it's positive, negative, and should be all of this correct. So let's see the compare. So it should be positive, and all of this is positive. And I see here in OpenAI and OpenAI JSON, it's a little different because I use 2 different models. In first one, I use the GPT-4, and in second, I use GTP 3.5 Turbo. So it also could be a little different, but the same could happen for the language because each day this one after Microsoft trained the models could back with little bit different percentage. But how we can see, all of these are similar with percentage, maybe here it's like negative, mix, or neutral. But all of this is depend also of this, how we getting all of this information. And again, the bigger difference is with the time of render. Here we have 2 seconds. Here we waited 13 seconds or 90 seconds of JSON. So going back to the summary, for API call from Azure Text, you just need to import the Azure AI Text Analytics and call Text Analytics and analyze sentiments. And from documents, if we want opinion mining, we just need to add the true at the end of this. And from OpenAI, we need to write the message and what type of the model is and what we want in the result. The next bit is the summarization of the documents. So we get just document and it's going back with some summary for us of this what's going on in quick words. And there are two versions. There is extractive summarization and abstractive summarization. So the first one, extractive summarization, is to getting exactly this what is in document with the same wording. And abstractive summarization is adding their own words for the summarization of the document. So let's see how it's work here with document summarization. So again, I have some document creating by ChatGPT about the bias. So let's run this so we can have it. And with language API, it's going to create now, get the text, action, extractive summarization, how many sentences we would like to have. So I put the 20 of them. And extract summary, and just write all of them. So in 6 seconds, I got 20 sentences about what is written in the document about this bias with little sum of formatting. And the same I asked the ChatGPT to do summarize document and summarize the document and return in bullet points. I'm not mentioning how many of these bullet points I would like to have. So it could be a little longer. So let's little wait. And we have some examples in what is it? It's giving us some pretty clear document, and here the bullet points of these documents. So both of them can do exactly the same. And just to call, as I mentioned, the summary for document, we need to again get Azure AI Text Analytics and analyze the document and what exactly would like, how many sentences we would like to back with the summary and get the results. With OpenAI, we just need to write prompt engineering. You need to write what it's doing, so it's to summarize the document, and what it should return and how. There is also in language the summarization and conversation. So in all the conversation when we put there, it can find the issues of the summarization, create a chapters, title, or also narrative one. So let's see only quick one how this look like. So here I create only for the language. So we have the language one. We're getting displayed some two agents. So agent one and customer talking about some task and if it's resolved. And here where we have the summary, like issue task is succeed, customer unable to set up Wi-Fi, and as well the second and what's going on. So we don't need to read all of this one to easily get the summary of some big long conversation in any agent in help desk, for example. The next offering from the language is the key phrase extraction. So this what it's going to do is just get the key phrases from the text. So for example, it determines the main talking points in the input text. So for example, if the food was delicious and there were wonderful stuff, the main talking points are food and wonderful stuff. So how it works in the code. It just generates some business report that we would like to use. So let's just add this one. Again, we just adding calling the Azure AI text analytics, getting our credential, and we're getting the response with client.extra key phrases for our document, and getting the key phrases from this one. So there is a long one, it's less than 1 second, when we have some information about the document. The same we're doing with OpenAI. Again, we need to say what you are doing as a model and what users can create phrases of the document and return them in bullet points. So again, it's a little longer with using OpenAI. It's much quicker with doing the language studio. And let's little wait. And here where we have. So the difference is that here we have just key phrases for all the documents. Here it started to create a little bit different based on some other summaries. The difference is also that here we always will have the same or similar input, like the bullet points of each of these texts. Here in OpenAI, we're not sure how exactly it's going back at this stage. So probably if you would like to have exactly the same output every single time, we just need to create a better wording of these key phrases of the document and what kind of input exactly you would like to have. So with API call responses is going with extra key phrases from documents, and here with OpenAI we're creating an prompt what exactly it should go and how it should return for us. The next one is the name entity recognizer, where we can just get some entities based off the original text. And with name entity recognizer, we can get a person type, location, what kind of location, organization, event, skills, address, phone number, email, URL, IP, but as well as data with different bit and quantity of numbers like percent, age, temperature. So if we run this one to get, so we have a simple one. I had a wonderful trip to Seattle last week. We can get call again the client recognize entities with different entities. So we have a text category, subcategory, confidence score, length, and offset. That's going back from API. And here where we can get this information. From OpenAI, we just need to write how this model will go and create. So here is create with bullet points, and it's find similar. So it's find the location Seattle, the event a trip, and other information. So the difference is that here probably we'll have always the same group that we're going to back with extra score. Here we need to write exactly what we would like to get. Otherwise, ChatGPT will just think for us what kind of result should be. And performance is again, language is much quicker than ChatGPT, but going back with just API results, then OpenAI is more creative. So to summarize, to call API, we again using text analytics and client recognize entities. For OpenAI, we need to write a text that we need to create a name entities of the document and return them in bullet points. The new thing is the personal information detection. So this what we would like to have is to get all the information that shouldn't go publicly should be somehow mapped or not shown at all. So personal information detection could be anything like a person type, number, organization, address, IP address, datum, quantity, or anything that could identify any person. It also can go with the bank accounts, SWIFT code, credit cards, and here you will have a full list of what it can detect, including different numbers from different countries. So how it works here, let's run this one. I just provide some example with some employee SSN code and number, and if it's fine, this one, so I also adding that it will be in English language. So if it's fine, this just do not show. So here where we get the information that the number the employees SN is, and we don't know which exactly are, and we got again the confidence, the length, and other information. Here I write the same using my data, my information, so what is my name, phone number, and where I live. And here it's just getting the information about my name, number, and the street. I try to do exactly the same with OpenAI, so asking to protect P, and if I found, just return text with this one. And here it's almost similar output. The extra one what is hide is also hide which city I live in. And performance is also for ChatGPT, it's little slower than for language. So to call API, we just need to go and use the text analytics and recognize P entities. And with OpenAI, we just need to write, if you found in text, just return this text with some characters. The next bit that I'm going to show is Language Studio. So in Language Studio, we'll see what else you can do with the Microsoft Azure language services. And one of thing is entity linking. So if you use this one in the text, you can find the main entities. So like here, Inception, directed by Christopher Nolan, features a complex narrative about dreams. The main entities are Inception and Christopher Nolan, and based on that, it's going to find more information like in Wikipedia or other stuff, and get more information that you can go through. Next one is the language understanding. So it's a custom natural language that understands all of the models that are going on in the language. There is also an orchestral workflow, so it's getting a connection between language understanding and Q&A, and in one way you can just work on both of those data that's coming from different systems. And of course it's a Q&A where you can add your own FAQ, and also add an extra chit chats. So chit chats are the personality of the bot. So it could be professional, friendly, witty, caring, or enthusiastic. And it's really up to you and your application if you would like to use this one and how it should respond to your customers. So let's go and see the Language Studio. So to go to Language Studio, we need to go to languagecognitiveazure.com. So first bit, what we should do is to sign in to get full access to Language Studio. So when we're going to sign in, okay, we'll also have access to other things. So we need to select if you would like to go and create if we would like to create some custom things, we need to have access to our Azure directory. Select the subscription, so let's choose this one. Okay, now select the subscription, and here the language resources that we can have. So it could be from cognitive services, language, or translator. I will use the language one that I create, and here we have the reactor one that created before. So when we click done, it's access to our subscription, and then when we can start creating new projects. But before of that, here in the studio you have also a lot of examples that you can go and check. So like before I show you have some extract information. We can do like find linking entities, and here we can just write our text or just use the samples. So like some here email we can run based on our subscription, and in nice way it's showing us what the linked entities are, what is original text, and what and how exactly it's finding this information. But this what I wanted to show is also how to create other bits. So let's start with create a custom question answering. So this what we're going to do is first choosing the resource and select the language, and here where we can choose the language, or I want later to choose this one. Enter the basic information, so the name, we cannot have a space, some description, source language, so let's choose English, and default answer, what it will no answer found, and review and create the project. Okay, and now when we have this one, we can add the source. We can add from URL, files, or chit-chat. So let's start with chit-chat, and let's make this wiki. So here where we have our first source to adding. And here where we have our first source of the chat. When we click this one, okay, we can see all information and some alternative questions that's coming on who I am and how people could ask on who older, etc. So all of this we have here, we don't need to write. We can add also the source from the files. So we can add the file, or in this bit we can add from URL. So let me just get some sample URL of Surface Book. Add URL, Surface, adding the source, and now going to connect to the URL and getting all Q&As. And how we see it's here. So when we click, we got our information from the source and what's going answers and other stuff. So next we can of course deploy and start using our Q&A. So here we will get all our Q&A projects. We can also create more projects like conversational language understanding. So to do that, again, we need to add the name, what language, if this will be multiple, some description. Go next and create. And this, what I'm going to do is as well just import the demo project. So here is the project about the email. So like add up, flag, delete, forward. So all intents and entities like attachment, categories, line, messages, and all is nicely connected. Then you also can add the labeling for our training set, and then for testing one. And we are able as well to start the training job and make this training for us. So training model like model 1, and train all this data to start working on this. And if you would like to connect both of them, we can use orchestral workflow. So we can write reactor, what the language is it, then next and create. And here what we're going to do, I would like to connect with some others. So I would like to do with conventional one and email demo. So it's email and add intent. And at the same time, I would like to add my Q&A, and this one is just Q&A. And here where we got all information from both of this one in one schema. We can again create some trainings set and create a model to train this one and have a training from both of these sources in one bit and start using this for our purpose. And I really recommend to go to this language studio and little play and find out how all of this working. And even if you don't have that much the dev background, here where you can find a lot of examples how the language is working on. So let's go to the summary of this, what we can do with OpenAI and the language models. So OpenAI is an advanced language model. It has not only the language, but as well image like DALL-E, codecs to generate new code, text generation, and is based on a lot of big LLM for research and development. With Azure AI services, there are a broad range of a lot of different language services. It's a very good integrate with Microsoft products. You can customize most of the models, and it's multi-language support. So the key difference are OpenAI models are more sophistication. They based on the larger model, and train on the different type. of the data. There are different also between specialized and broad services. So language models are specialized with this what they're doing, but OpenAI is just broad service that can do much more in this one services. And the customization and integration. So with OpenAI, this what you need to use is your language and how the output will come with based on this how you write it. And with languages, you will always get the same schema that going back from the languages. So what you need to consider if you would like to go extra between language and OpenAI. First, what is your use case and what kind of capabilities you have? How much is complexity of the task? Because sometimes it's better use the language services than OpenAI, but in some scenario, OpenAI will be much better in this scenario. How much this will be cost and what kind of budget you have. How much you need to be scalability for all of your project. What kind of integration with other systems you need. You need also think about data privacy and compliance, because when we're using any products with AI, we need to understand how they working and how our data is going with all of the process. What kind of support and community you will get to create your application, how much it will be customized, and how big control you have over creating and getting outputs from your application. You should start from the trial and testing before you choose which one will be better for you. And future proofing is for OpenAI. If this what it's not giving you with OpenAI and language, and you still want to go with OpenAI, you just need to think about how to do future proofing. So this was all from me. Thank you very much for attending today's session. And if you have any question, please find me on X, Twitter, LinkedIn here on Instagram, and I'll be very happy to answer any question.